Hello there, my gooey little chocolate fudge friends. Today we're gonna play the ice level. What's it called? It's called Rink Revenge. You guys might be used to this level as the Rink. The Rink was one of the first new maps involved in BTD 5. And everybody was like, dude, this map sucks. This is way too easy. And I agreed with them. The map was just plain too easy. I mean, even for daily challenges and stuff, just ain't gonna happen. By the way, I was actually thinking about daily challenges a little bit, and I was thinking, maybe I should start doing some daily challenges every once in a while. I like to do some vault daily challenges, or just, do some BTD5 random challenges or something like that. I don't know, those seems like they could be kind of fun to do every once in a while. I don't know, I think I'm gonna finish my Impoppable series first. We only got about 20-ish videos left to do, believe it or not. Yeah, less than 20 actually, because all we have to do is the expert maps. I think there's about 10 of those guys. We're already starting with some of these advanced maps in here, and then we got maybe we're gonna do Mean Street and Bloons Lab. We'll have to see how we feel about it once we get there. I think I would like to do them. Down the Drain's probably the hardest map, but if I could do Bloons Lab, I'd feel pretty darn good about that one. Only real problem is even though I don't use saves, you're not allowed to use save states anyway, so that kind of actually does make it a little more difficult for some other people who do want to try and use saves or something like that to try and beat these games. So what I'm doing is I started off with an engineer in kind of a different spot than usual. Normally if you're thinking about this level, you'd probably think about using like an engineer like right in the middle of the map, but I tried to use him closest to the edge of the map, because what that allows me to do is to get the balloons are getting popped where the very back of the map actually is. So I actually get more time to shoot them. I get more time to react to these balloons. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, actually. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm explaining it in a completely retarded way or something like that. I think I kind of am. But it's kind of like a difference in time from when you attack the first balloons that come out on the left side there, compared to the balloons that come later on the top side over there. So it just gives me more time overall for my towers to shoot things. I hope that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. If not, I'm just going to have to say give up, but I don't really care about it. So, sadly enough, I was like, you know what, I need to set a road spikes level 24, and then I forgot I actually made a ninja. What a noob I am. I'm a mega noob. I also decided, while I'm at it, why not get a freaking spike factory? This is one of those levels where a spike factory is actually fairly effective, but the only bad thing about it is you do have to get 2 spike factories to make them really, really effective. But I probably actually should have waited. I probably should have waited until probably around 32 or so to get spike factories and just farmed in between. But unluckily enough, I was a little bit of a noob cake there, and I couldn't really do it. Now what I'm trying to do here is fit my 4th farm in here, and I don't know what's going to happen. I really hope it fits. Come on, get it in there. Get it in there. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Get it in there. I saw it, and it doesn't fit. It's so sad. So I'm actually just going to upgrade my other farms instead of trying to go for those guys. And hope that maybe I'll fit a farm later, or maybe I'll move my spike factory, or maybe something along those lines. One little extra farm can actually be a way bigger difference than the spike factory in the late game. It's just about your early game right now. It's going to hurt you a couple $100. And does that couple $100 matter? Yeah, it does. You could buy some pretty nice stuffs with a couple $100. Probably, you'd lose probably about $250 or so, I think. Somewhere in that little range. I'm not actually sure if Impoppable makes things sell for less money, though I think it does. I think everything you sell actually gets sold for less, not just because it's more expensive in the first place, and that means that you only get a percentage back, so you're going to make less money back, of course, but at the same time, I think there's actually like another thing where they actually factor in that you don't get as much money for selling things, which definitely makes sense. It makes it even harder and harder and harder. Every single thing about Impoppable Mode is harder, and I'm actually kind of surprised that I was able to do all of these advanced maps with, not no problems, but with very limited amount of problems. I think the hardest level that I probably faced was Challenger Deep. Challenger Deep was the biggest problem for me, and then there's a couple other ones where I was just not exactly happy with my with the way things were going. But it wasn't to the end of the world. It wasn't terrible, and everything seemed to go okay. So I have a little bit of a story for you guys while we're at it. It's not even that funny of a story. I just like the story. I personally am a fan of the story, so I'm gonna go with it. It was a long time ago. I don't know, it was probably like 17, 16. I just got a car, just was able to drive around and stuff like that. And I was at a GameStop, and we decided to walk. Actually, we were at bowling, and we decided to walk to a GameStop and a McDonald's. So we started walking to this GameStop, And it was winter time, by the way, and there was a giant snowbank. And I was like, oh, look at that snowbank. Let me go jump over the snowbank. So I decided, you know what, that just being having fun, you know, a teenager wants to have fun, right? What's the best way to have fun? Jump over snowbanks, right? That's the coolest thing to do in winter. So I just ran. My friends are like, you know, I don't know, maybe 30 feet behind me or something like that. Not too far, you know, they're pretty darn close. I go and I run and I jump over the snowbank, and then all of a sudden they just said that all they saw was me jump over the snowbank, and then I was gone. I was like, very interesting. Yeah, because want to know what happened, guys? I jumped over the snowbank, and there was ice on the other side. And I slipped, and I fell, and I completely wiped out, and I got hurt a little bit. Not terrible, but no, I got some pretty bad bruises and stuff. But not only did I fall on this ice, believe it or not, the ice was pointy. I've never ever seen pointy ice until this time. I guess the way it worked was like the grass was still sticking up a little bit, and the water froze around the grass, like perfectly. It was like an ice rink over there, but a pointy ice rink, and it was not fun. It was not fun to have to deal with all those little stupid little pointy grass things and stuff. Oh boy, was it not fun. I got so many bruises. Like my back, honestly, it was like almost like acupuncture. They weren't really that pointy. I would not say it was like a sharp pointy. I would say it was more of just a, like, holy crap, like I didn't fall on a flat surface. I fell on like a ridged kind of mediumly pointy surface, and it was not fun. And my friends still to this day, every once in a while, they remind me of it. They remind me of, man, remember that time you fell on the ice and you were just like, hey, watch this, and then all of a sudden you fall on the ice? Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. I'll remember that till the end of my days. I think, probably, unless I get schizophrenia or something, or Parkinson's, or whatever the heck makes me forget things. I hope I don't get any of those things. I like my brain. I hope it works out well, and I really don't feel like I want to have people take care of me all the time. No, I don't. Oh man, could you imagine that? You know, I don't think I would want to die because of that. It would just be really, really sad to have like somebody have to take care of you and, you know, make sure you get your pants on every day and make sure you get everything else all set up all the time. It would be a little bit upsetting. Boy, would it. So we actually only did go with a 3-farm setup today. I could have went for the 4-farm setup and sold my Spike Factory and everything. I could even do that right now. But I was just like, oh, I'm too far into it. I'll just get a bunch of Robo-Monkeys. Which was kind of fun, actually. I really liked getting a bunch of 0-3 Robo-Monkeys. Because how often do you see that? You always get the Plasma Robos. But I didn't get the Plasma Robos today. I went for the 0-3s, which I guess would just be regular Robo-Monkeys. I guess. But, obviously, Plasma Robos are better. So after I got the 0-3 for Moab Popping Power, I decided to go for the Plasmas for extra Moab Popping Power and also a lot more Bloon Popping Power. Because that's the thing about the Robo-Monkeys, is they're actually a surprisingly very good amount of Moab Popping Power. Their Bloon Popping Power is a little bit lacking, but still not terrible, and that's why the Robo-Monkeys are kind of sweet. I would actually say that the Robo-Monkeys probably have about as much Bloon Popping Power, if not a little bit less, than the Plasma. But it also has more range, which means more Bloon Popping Power and more time to attack these things. So realistically, I'd say the Robo-Monkey is probably a little bit better than the Plasma. That's why I usually end up going for this Robo. And usually the problem is you need Moab Popping Power anyway, so it's kind of like, that's kind of nice. But once you get that Robo-Plasma, oh my goodness, it gets, the Moab Popping Power just, it was probably almost double what a Robo, which is like a regular Robo-Monkey would be. And then on top of that, you also got the Bloon Popping Power just goes up tremendously. It's awesome. It's just amazing how much Bloon Popping Power you get out of these Robo-Plasmas. I think it's probably only double of what a Plasma Monkey is. At least it seems like it should be like that, but I think it's actually a little bit more than double. I think it's more than double, but I'm not 100% positive on that. So you notice what I'm getting is I'm getting kind of some weird towers over here. I'm getting some little helicopters over here. They're taking down a lot of these BFBs and stuff like that. They're taking them down actually pretty darn easily. A lot of balloons and stuff just go bloop and explode. BFB's just gone. And then also I got a couple submarines in the top there. Ooh, why do you have those submarines up there, Chris? Well, I was hoping to get the first strike ability, and I could use that and defeat the Zoma Gods. Sadly enough, and upsettingly enough, I still do not have the experience to get that first strike ability. Makes me kind of mad, makes me kind of angry, makes Chris want to break things. Break iPad, break Blizz, rah, 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 rah. But I don't break anything, it's good. I actually just decided, you know, I'll just build a crap load of assassins and just use those abilities and defeat some of these Zoma Gods. And it did an okay job. They actually defeated the Zoma Gods fairly easily. Bloon's kind of easy to beat. And that's all we're gonna have for today. So as always, thanks for watching and have a super duperty delicious day, my little gooey little friends. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and if you want to see a little bit more sweet action, feel free to check out the over 200 episodes of BTD battles. And we got some mobile down there if that's what floats your boat. Also Bloons Monkey City, one of my favorite games, and if you just want a little bit of a quickie, we got some random mod series down there. That's all I'm going to have for you guys today. As always, thanks for watching, have a super awesome day.